Specifically, how far are the gravestones from this building?
They're probably about 15 feet away.
There are gravestones in front of the building as well. Do you have enough space to get in and out of the garage there?
There's no headstones in front of that.
Well, the driveway kind of turns in before the building there.
So I don't know that the drawing matches up to reality.
What's that?
I don't know that the drawing matches up to reality. When you go out there, it just raises the question. So to next point, if you could clarify that with some dimensions, that would help.
Okay, no problem.
Plus a construction sequence, how you going to do it, that addresses, Mr. Balzano's question.
Okay. We'd like to be, if you could pass this along to the zoning board, as Michael said, there's one variance that's required.
There are so many things I want to, when you pull in there, it'll be, what, 3 buildings now with the garage, or 4, right? 3 buildings, right? I would think as a business owner, you'd want a little bit more of an impact that, wow, this is nice. I'm concerned with, we haven't seen any drawing, building layouts of the garage, what materials are gonna be used, colors.
But isn't that what is required when we come back for a final?
Well, I think there's a lot that lacks now before going to the Architecture Review Board, in my opinion, and I'd like to hear from others. We also are the Architecture Review Board, and Pat hit on it, I'd just like to go a little bit further with it. I think there should be symmetrical. I think the buildings ought to look alike, maybe the same finishes, maybe the same colors. It should give you, as an owner of the business, I would like someone to pull in there and say, wow, this is a nice place for mom and dad or whomever, whatever the case is. And I'm afraid we just put up I don't think it's haphazard, garage, nothing's gonna match, nothing's gonna flow, and we're gonna be stuck with an eyesore from a major roadway in our town. And Joel, you'll know, you heard it from me several times, every meeting, that I say, look, I want this place to look nice. We gotta take all these small projects, and when we leave the project, it's gotta look nicer tomorrow than it did yesterday. And I
Okay.
don't think we're doing that with this right now, not with what I've seen, what's been submitted. Is it gonna be a blue building, a gray building, a green building, white building? I don't know.
Maybe some
again,
landscaping?
Landscaping should be part of that.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning, it's not only when you drive into the cemetery. When you approach south on Route 6, you're seeing these 2 buildings up in the corner on the right. So now there's just going to be another long building next to it. Again, architecturally, is there something we can do?
Right. And I think, Joel, we as a board have pretty much consistently not sent things off to other boards until we're satisfied that we have a good project, and then we've referred it off. So I think in that regard, we're pretty consistent, and I think that to build on the chairman's statements, we need to really get our hands wrapped around this project before we do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
I understand the need. I'm sure they could use 2 garages as a road maintenance. I'm not against the project, I'm against not knowing enough about the project.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Deacons Perry, 112 Bucks Hollow Road. Mike, you had some comments, I believe?
I'm working off my phone, so my computer's not working. They propose a 60 by 42 bay garage contractor establishment to an existing one-family dwelling in the CB zoning district. Use variance is required for the mixed use in the CB zone. Lot depth and width lines are incorrect. I'd like to meet with Jack. I could go over with him and show him how to make it right. Variance is required for lot area, width and depth are to be determined. Side yard for the house, side yard for the garage, and rear yard for the garage. That's it.
Thank you. Rich?
So similar comments that I had for the prior application. Mahopac Fire Department would be a referral. There might be a need to Town of Carmel Highway permit. Amazingly so, the disturbance is 4,975 square feet, which is 25 square feet lower than the threshold needed for the New York State DEC stormwater permit. I will be out there measuring, Jack, just so you know. Drawing doesn't show any details for stabilized construction entrance or sediment control measures. They must be provided. If any fill's being brought, have it there. It must be certified, New York State DEC regulations. And how is the drainage from the new building being routed? Where's it being routed to? So similar comments in these past two.
Pat?
And really just two comments from me, Mr. Chairman, just understanding what the garage is going to be used for. If it's an actively used business operation, if they muster people there for work in the morning and there's employees coming there, understanding how the building is going to be used as a business operation on a single-family home is important for us to understand. And just one technical issue, as you come in the driveway, that's where the two parking spaces are for the home, and then the driveway would continue to the garage in the back. So what if the homeowners park their cars there? How do the construction vehicles or whatever is being stored there maneuver? I don't know if there's space to maneuver around that. So that's really two things, they're just clarifications.
Jack, there's a lot happening in that area. We're all very familiar with this industrial area. Why don't you give us an overview of what they want to do besides just a garage?
The owner is here, Mr. DeGasperi, and it's right next to John Lemons' big project.
Can you
over
speak up,
there.
please?
I mean, it's a.
Speak up,
to the
please.
microphone. Yeah.
Okay, and he's building a garage for his personal business, not for, people coming in. As far as a stabilized construction entrance, I can show that, but we're just extending the driveway to the rear, and the main driveway will serve as the construction entrance. Do you guys have written comments for this? Oh, good, all right. This is the first time this has been before the board, and we appreciate your comments.
So, Jack, well, let me ask you, any of you gentlemen have any comments on this?
The only comment I had was who's going to use it. It's personal, so that.
Oh,
I can't- what did he say?
Wondering how we were going to use it and who was going to use it with no
Well, I'll
turnout
have
off
the
the
owner,
driveway,
I'll
but it's.
have the owner come up and.
No, I get it. Single owner occupied, it's his business.
Yeah, he
That
can
makes a lot of
explain
sense.
exactly what he's gonna do.
And Jack, you could do a stabilization at where it transfers to the driveway, just to get the dirt off before you get out to the road. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Chris DeGasperi. Pretty much use it as my shop for my supplies, my inventory. Set up daily, I do a lot of service work too, so I keep a lot of inventory in-house. And I have a lot of, right now, I work out of shed structures, so I'm trying to get rid of those, so I could hopefully have a building on the, everything on the one roof right now. Just get rid of, in hopes I get this garage, I'll get rid of the sheds I have, take them down, and just try to clean up the property. We've been working out of there since 1980, pretty much running a plumbing and heating company out of there. So nothing's really changing as far as the daily activity we do out of there. It's worked for us.
Yeah, Chris, so that's the question. So by building the garage, you're not expanding the business and adding 50 employees or
No.
anything?
No. Just trying to make my life easier, for my crew.
Do
pretty
you
much.
live there, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're taking down buildings, so Jack, just show what buildings are being removed. I don't remember if they're on the drawing or not, but if they are on the drawing, then we're good. If not, show what's being taken down, what's being
Yeah,
put in place of it.
I think there's two drawings, two built little sheds that are coming out, and we've labeled them that they're two.
Yeah, it's in
being
the same
removed.
spot where the garage is, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah, and yes. Can we get a referral to the zoning board for the variance?
We're still asking questions. Let's just see where this pans out at. right
Okay.
now.
Is this property on septic or sewer?
It's on septic.
Where's your septic field?
Septic's in the back. So it's in the back.
Where is it in relation to the
Septic is
garage?
in the rear yard. It's the proper distance from that building, which is going to be a slab on grade, and there's no bathroom in the building. So we're not doing anything with the septic, and it's.
Jack, it's between the garage and the building. Could you point it out for Nick?
And label it too on the plan. Is it labeled, Jack?
Jack, you need this microphone, sorry.
I know, okay, I'm sorry. Lost my head. What are we doing? Oh, the septic is right here. The existing building is here. The garage the proposed garage is here. And this is the extension of the driveway into the, and I know Pat talked about parking, but they're not gonna park stuff outside. It's gonna be in the building and it's all his own stuff.
Will there be water, waste, and electricity in the new building?
There'll be electricity, but there's no water, there's no bathroom.
What is the height of the new
Oh,
structure?
there is one thing. There's an outside hose bib, right? Yeah, and there's a water line that goes to this shed, but that's gonna be eliminated partially and just connected to an outside hose bib.
Jack, what's the height of the new structure?
What's the height, you think? It must,
It's 21 feet to the east.
yeah, we'll have architecturals for that.
So I guess what I'm really asking is the new structure going to be higher than the existing residence?
No, probably not, because the grade slopes off, so if you're looking at the road, this building, I can get an
I mean, we're
architectural.
going to see renderings, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna look over the top of that building. And then, you know, Lemons has got stuff all along here, so it's not, and there is a residential house, I believe, here. Or is that where it is, on this property here, Kazi's property? Yeah, right there. So Ben Kazi has a commercial building also. So it fits into that
Well,
area.
Show those on the drawing then, Jack, right? I mean, so at least now, well, formally, if that's not next to it, right, it should be on there. Are there going to be lights on the building?
Yes.
All right, so Jack, details, lighting spill plan, details of where the lights are going to be. Your drawing says that you're disconnecting an existing water line, but you're connecting it to a hose bib. From where? From the main house?
The main house has a water line that goes from here to this shed.
Yep.
And I'm showing that it's being eliminated inside this building. And we'll have a hose bib outside. I'll show some lighting, and I'll do a larger scale drawing that shows the existing buildings, but.
Are there going to be any
Ben's
visual
building is
impacts from people? So again, I think the board would ask that question next.
The only visual
Putting up a
impact is-
garage, you know, that we
Yeah.
had an issue with somebody putting a garage up for a similar situation on Myrtle. And, you know, I mean, when the public hearing was out there, they're like, I got to see this. So
But the building is behind this house.
more to the right of it.
You're not
You said
gonna
Lemmings
see
is
it.
on one
Over
side,
here?
so. Yeah, I don't know.
That's
It's
Lemons'
all
property.
commercial
It-
warehousing.
Lemons' property goes behind this building.
What's that?
and
What's
then
on the
Ben
left?
Kazi's property is way over here. I'll show them
Let's just talk about this property, though.
I'll show them on a larger scale plan.
So, Chris, we played a role of the architecture review board also. I know it's an industrial area, I know it's gonna be in the back, but we wanna see what the garage looks like. We wanna see a rendering. Is it gonna be a pink building? Is it gonna be a green building?
Yeah, color
What
samples.
kind of material you're gonna use?
Didn't I send a rendering to you, Rich,
It came out really bad.
of the building?
There was pictures, it's not quite a rendering. It looks barn-like.
That's a rendering. Yeah, barn-like is right, but it's, you're not
little
gonna,
more detail.
you're not gonna see.
Look, I'm not looking for you, I'm
Or-
not looking for you to
Hit
build,
Control P
to
next
give us renderings of a garage that you would build for your house. I understand where this is, but we gotta see what it looks like.
All right, I'll give a cross-section back through the building, back through and see where it comes out, yeah. That's fine. And I'll talk to Rose about your comment letters, right? Okay,
And everybody, we all had comments.
okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is going to be an engineered building?
It is.
Yes. Okay. That's the deal. All right.
Okay, I'm staying here, because I got the next one,
Oh, okay.
that extension.
All right. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
I brought this plan just in case, I mean, it's an extension of a.
Well, let me open it up, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Next on the agenda is the Fry subdivision, 79 Secor Road, extension of final subdivision. Mike, any comments?
Just that the zoning changed there, but because it was already approved, they are fine.
Okay. Rich?
No objection to the extension of this final subdivision plan, as long as no changes to the site are being made. Jack, just provide me a list of the permits that have been granted and associated expiration dates, so we have that on file.
Permits that have been granted by who?
Wherever permits, you have Putnam
Well,
County DOH, you have highway, you have state, you have whatever. Whatever permits have been blessed and given for this project, give a list with the date of expiration.
This project is already approved for a driveway. It's a subdivision, but and with an existing house. And the reason we didn't get this done quickly is that we're jammed up with the health department because they want to see us to prove out an expansion area for the existing house. So what you approved before, the driveway, is,
Jack, just a list with expiration dates. You're fine after that.
okay.
Yeah, just say driveway permit, no expiration date, or 2026,
We
whatever
never
it is.
submitted for a driveway permit.
Okay, then whatever you do have approval.
What-
Okay.
Did you go to DEP on this? No, right? There was no DEP
Well, we
approval?
got, we'll have to check.
Was there a stormwater permit for the state? Yes, you had to get
Yes,
that?
but we didn't file that yet because the subdivision wasn't done and approved by
Okay.
the health department.
Do you have health department approvals?
No, because it's sat there for months.
So make that list without any approvals, but
Okay.
let's have it so it's a matter of record.
Okay,
Thank
that's fine, all right. We're good?
I don't know if we're good. I thought we would have been, but it seems like there might be several things open for, that Rich needs.
It's a,
No, that's not necessary.
No need to hold it for that.
No need to hold it.
We can do
They
it.
just, he has to provide a list. It's a very simple thing to do. I don't know why he's fighting it, but he has to just provide a list, right? So,
I'm not fighting it.
yeah, a little bit. So in the grand scheme of things, right, he's good. He can get his extension. We've approved it. We're good with it. He just needs to follow through on those things.
I would appreciate your extension.
And Pat, any comments from you?
No, again, it was, the health department was really his holdup.
Yeah, and we've had problems with that before. That's kind of falls in sync with a lot of
Yeah.
our work this year.
Yeah, and the owner had to pay a significant fee to extend this permit.
Yeah.
But we appreciate
This
you.
has been around for a while, too.
Yeah,
When
we appreciate you
sort of
extending
a
it.
relatively simple project. We have a motion to grant final subdivision approval for 180 days.
So I'll make a motion to grant an extension of the final subdivision approval for 180 days.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you very much.
He's very aggressive.
He must have had one of those, he must have had one of those energy drinks before he got here.
Next on the agenda is Western Bluff subdivision, 350 West Shore Drive.
Good evening.
Good evening. Mike, I don't believe you had any comments, correct?
I do not.
Rich?
No objection, final subdivision to plan, as long as no changes are being made to the site. The applicant in this case has provided a list of permits that have been granted and associated expiration dates, and everything is good. So, too bad
And
the-
Pat?
No issues, Mr. Chairman. They're good for the extension.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to grant a final subdivision approval, extension of final subdivision approval for 180 days.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. See how simple things can go when you follow directions?
It's been a pleasure working with you, gentlemen. If only my clients were this simple. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Good night.
Next on the agenda, Kins Grant Condominium, Fair Street, waiver of the site plan application. Mike?
The applicant's requesting a waiver for added parking along the emergency access adjacent to Wainwright Road in Carmel. Provide dimensions of the parking spaces. Has Carmel Fire Department reviewed and commented on the submission? Will the gate include a locking device? Provide details on the site plan for future clarification enforcement if needed. If a lock is installed, the combination must be given to 911 dispatch, sheriff's office, Carmel PD, ambulance, and any other agency that would need access in an emergency.
Thank you, Mike. Rich?
So I had no objection to the waiver of the site plan because this thing has been there forever, but Mike brought up a good point earlier. You know, there are turning radiuses that were not provided on any of the drawings where these spots were put in without any approval. So some additional information should probably be given on those. But otherwise than that, you know, they're looking to legalize 6 parking spaces that have been there forever.
And Pat?
So
Thanks.
no issues with this. Just reiterate the point, if they were built incorrectly, not to town standards, if they don't have the proper radiuses, that should be corrected at this point in time. But they've been there forever, and it's really not a concern or a zoning issue in any way.
That was my question, Pat. What if this, now, Rich, maybe it's more to you. What are these parking, evidently your parking spaces went in without a permit back when?
So this
So,
came
was it not
to
broken
light.
code?
Well, this came to light because of the work that was being done on Fair Street. All of a sudden, that access way was opened up legally, illegally, whatever. And Mike had an opportunity to take a hard look at what was there and realized that there were additional parking spaces, which are also in the area of an ingress and egress out onto Wainwright. So that's where this came from. So the board needs to take a hard look at these illegal parking spaces and make sure that it doesn't further impact the means of ingress and egress as a emergency basis out onto Wainwright, which traditionally has been for emergency purposes only, but was opened up as a way to alleviate traffic waiting to get out onto Fair Street from Kings Grant. And it caused a lot of consternation among neighbors, Kings Grant folks, people in the neighborhood, flag people, Department of Public Works, county officials, you name it.
Mike, you mentioned something about the fire, has the fire department looked at this?
As what?
Has the fire department looked at this?
I don't think so.
So, I mean, that would be my biggest concern. I mean, these are there, and presumably you've never had a fire, so it's never come up. But, I mean, I think the fire department needs to look at it to make sure that they get their apparatus through there and those spots are not obstructing.
They did look at it before they put the parking spaces, because it was on the old site plan this way.
Right, but that's different.
So since it changed, that's when the question came up.
So I can address that, Mr. Chairman, if
Sure, and
you
go
allow.
back, probably half the board wasn't here when these were built.
Yep.
Go back and give us a little intro, if you
Will
don't
do,
mind.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
for the record, my name is David Cooper. I'm a partner with the law firm of Zarin and Steinmetz here, representing the Kings Grant Master Association, and with me is Adam Thurbeck from Insight Engineering, the project engineer. So Kings Grant is a long-standing residential community off of, in the area off of Fair Street. Originally, site plan approval was granted in 1983, and then there was an amendment in 1985. Since that time, it's been in full operation, and the road onto Wainwright is an emergency access, which is gated, and I'll get to that in a second. But sometime in the 2000s, early 2000s, the community built 11 more parking spaces right by Building 11, and they never made it onto a site plan. And so now, because of the issues that were going on, because Fair Street was blocked, and I guess the residents were trying to use the emergency access to get out, because there were times when actually they could not get out of their own driveway of the community, this issue arose. With respect to the access, that's no longer an issue, and also that gate has been locked. They're using metal ties at this point, not a combination lock. I think that the issue, and we can speak with the town about it, I think that the concern on the Master Association's part is they don't want to be liable if somebody loses the combination 911 and they're coming, they can't open the gate. I think we can work that out, and I can handle with them, but we'll just have to work that out, with the town. But just so the board knows, from an access perspective, that road is no longer being used as egress ingress by the community. We did present, the application to the board is for a waiver under 60L. We did present, I think there were turning radii as well that were presented, but I'll let Adam go through it.
Yeah, we did provide a vehicle maneuver, so this is aerial apparatus, E1 fire truck. We did show it coming through. This is a current survey. done about a month ago of the existing condition, and we were able to model the maneuver making its way through the existing emergency access as was intended in 83. So there's no encumbrance to that, as shown by the maneuver.
That's the size of the apparatus they have now?
I'll double check. And
Just to be sure, just.
Sure. Yeah, this is one of the bigger trucks that we are even able to model, but I'll confirm with them that it
Just to
meets
be
their
sure,
spec.
I wouldn't want them to
Yep.
have to hit a car to get out or in or an emergency.
Yep.
And Adam, the spaces are properly paved, they're the right size, is there drainage? Like,
They're properly paved, they are striped, and as far as drainage goes, it does make its way into the collection system that's on site. We'll double check on the dimensional requirements.
It seems to me, although they're not being used for egress, or as an entrance, only for emergencies, what I haven't heard is if the roads were built, if the parking spaces were built properly. I hear that they were paved, but do you have your depth underneath there? Are they built to code?
In terms of the pavement section,
Dimensional.
dimensional, we'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I mean, they were built, probably almost 20 years ago, so they were probably to code back in.
But now's the time. to
Code's
bring
the
it up.
same.
Right.
The code has been the
Hasn't
same. Yeah, okay.
Hasn't changed. It's still 10 by 20. It's been 10 by 20 for 30 years I'm here. And it's, if you have a raised bumper, you could go to 18. It's not going to change. So it's the width is the question.
From what I recall, there are neighbors in Kings Grant itself that don't like that parking situated there. I'm not sure who they are, but I'm pretty sure I've gotten an email from somebody saying that they were not happy with those additional spots too. So just something to be mindful of.
Yeah, I mean, they should contact the Master Association. I mean, obviously, the Master Association is who retained us, but if there is an issue, they'll deal with it internally. Procedurally, if the spots need to be brought up to code, and the next step for the board, would the board still consider the waiver if we were to submit a plan which shows either them up to code as is, or if we have to do some changes?
So David, it depends on what it is. If it's 3.5 inches on one side, that's fine, we could do that as the waiver, but if the plan is changing, we have to amend the site plan.
Right. Well, there is the provision in the code that allows, well, it's not a waiver, but I guess it's no public hearing, but just a sort of administrative approval.
Right. So the waiver of the site plan will result in a record from this meeting saying you didn't have to do anything.
Right.
That probably goes away. 5 years from now, you're going to come back and try to piece together the 3 additional spaces they put on the end of these spaces. There's no plan, there's no record of it. So if there's a physical change that we need to bear in mind, we would probably want to amend a site plan. If it's just legalizing a little bit of change here and there, that's probably fine. But the point of the site plan is it leaves a trail, so we could verify things in the future.
And I would not recommend waiving a public hearing, to be honest with you.
David and Adam's benefit, is there anything else that we're concerned with other than if the spaces were built to code? But that seems to be it, right?
My opinion is a lock on the gate.
Yeah.
Should be a lock on the gate. If you don't want people using it when they shouldn't be, if it's not an emergency, a lock is the best way. 911, police, sheriff, ambulance, all has the password or passcode or whatever it is. And that's all that matters. They're the only ones that should have the right or the need to go through there.
And that will also go a long way to resolving the violation that's pending in the town of Carmel Justice Court.
Right, which I think it's been communicated to the Master.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And David, typically, I forget what you said, but zip tying the gate together is generally not an acceptable solution. It's maybe a little more permanent than lock. I get the point you made about the lock, but typically there's a knock box. There's a way to have a lock on the gate.
So how has the town dealt with the concern about if the combination is lost, or are there other examples that I can point the Master Association to say, hey, this is how
I'm sure you've come across this. So there are lots of mechanisms. Yeah. So the emergency service vehicle can have a frequency that opens a gate that's related to the type of lock you use on the gate. So there's lots of solutions to do. It doesn't have to be a master lock with your combination on your palm, like at high school. But I think if you gave it a little bit of thought, you could come back with a solution that would be acceptable to Mike and the
Well,
emergency service folks.
Yeah, obviously, we think about it often. I just need to make sure that the client is okay with it. The issue would be, what, are there, do you know if there are any types of locks that the fire department uses generally? Like, for example, other municipalities do have
I don't think we have.
You could put a Knox box on the post and then have any kind of lock you want. As long as they can get in the Knox box, then they get the key and they could open it up.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
another
Well,
option. I mean, there's 100 options.
I think that's the easiest idea.
There's 100 options. It's just,
There with a key.
Or ask the fire department what they would.
Yeah,
rather
that
have.
may be the,
we offered to buy the lock. I was going to go buy it myself just to put a lock on there, but I don't want to lock it until everybody's on the same page. That's the problem.
Otherwise, yeah.
okay, let me forward that on to the Master Association.
David, I don't
Yeah.
think if we push this out 2 weeks, it's going to really impact you or anybody. We get these questions answered. I mean, we're talking 2 weeks.
So, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman, what I would ask you to consider tonight is if you push this out for 2 weeks and they're able to answer these questions, are you still okay with the waiving of the site plan? Or has this accumulated to a point where they need to amend the site plan? You should
I
make that
think it
decision
depends
right
on
now.
what comes back
We
from
don't
the
know.
analysis of the parking spaces. If they're built 10 by 20 and depth
Everything's
is
good?
good, and then yes, I would waive it. But
Because we would have a report at that point.
Good point.
And that could serve as record.
And I'll get the memos from Rose tomorrow, and we'll see what's in there. We'll
And just to be clear,
Address.
Adam, it's not only Mike's dimensional compliance, it's physically
Yes.
what you built.
Okay. See what we can come up with.
okay.
Thank you.
It would probably help you if you can get back in 2 weeks, because there's not going to be a meeting in the second half of August.
Okay.
So just for your benefit.
And if you guys have any, give me a call.
Yeah,
I
will do.
spoke to your associate today. So.
Yes, Matt, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Rose distributed meetings of May 8th, May 28th, June 12th, and June 25th. Has anyone had an opportunity to review those, and can we have a motion to approve the minutes as distributed by Rose?
Mr. Chairman, I reviewed all 4 sets of minutes, had comments on 3 of them, but not the minutes for June 25th. So I would recommend, propose approval of the minutes subject to comments made.
Second subject to.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Abstain.